What's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here, and it seems like we shift through reality pretty rapidly sometimes. It's pretty wild how this whole thing works. I want to say first of all, I know I have some explaining to do. The books I took down as a precautionary measure on the channel just to try to protect this channel. When I made those books, I asked a lot of times for permission to make them. Really, I made them for myself to learn the concepts because I fell in love with transurfing so much. It was better than any book I'd ever read. But I never got real permission from Vadim. So I would like to do that if it's in any way possible. I've reached out several times and I've not yet heard a response. If anybody knows how to get in touch with Vadim, that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, I put all the books on a different channel. That way they're still up and you guys can still listen to them. And we can feel like Bonnie and Clyde a little bit. But Transurfing-ism is the name of the channel that I put the books on. I'm not trying to do anything other than spread this message because I believe in it. And I'm going to live my life this way, regardless of what happens. I believe in these values. And no matter what, I'm going to hold tight to these principles because transurfing works. I'm no longer part of the International Transurfing Institute. That's very unfortunate. I loved being part of that group. It's something that I wanted to be a part of, but it's unfortunately something that just didn't work out. So for everybody who's still in there, enjoy. It's a great vibe. Keep up the great vibe. Everybody in there, all the admins and instructors are great. I don't know if I'm even technically recognized as a reality transurfing instructor or not, but I can be an unofficial transurfingism teacher, I guess. That's the best I've got until I can, just kind of figure out what my place is and what's going on. I'm still a little bit shell-shocked, I guess, a little bit in a tailspin, a bit, which all is well. It's so funny because all this stuff went down yesterday, and then I got a call in the afternoon that was like, hey man, working on a project if you're available, and it's like the coolest project. So I'm excited about that. Balancing forces are a thing, and I'm going to continue to teach this stuff. Want to let you guys know that the book is available on Transurfingism. I just didn't want somebody to get upset and come after the channel, just because it's just a little bit funky, So I'm going to be a bad open micer today because I made a list of things that I know I'm forgetting. So I'm just going to, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? What was I going to talk about? It's interesting, being a YouTuber, honestly, because it's something that I would have never wanted to do this, okay? I created that book so you could hear it from the horse's mouth. I never wanted to teach this stuff. But there were so many people who were just doing not a very good job of it, in my opinion. Online, when I started, I felt like I needed to. Now there's a lot of people who are talking about the stuff and they're doing a great job. So I'm not trying to badmouth anyone, but I'm trying to kind of give a little bit of a take. It's so funny how it seems disingenuous to be a YouTuber, but it seems sincere to be a comic. And the irony there is like way too much, because if you see a comic, they've rehearsed their bits like 100 times. It's all like embedded in their subconscious mind. Whereas I think most of the YouTubers, we just hit the camera, just go for it, One thing I'll want to say real quick, always listen to your intuition. Always. How many times have you, with your mind, talked yourself out of what your heart was telling you in your life? That's all I have to say about that. Let's see here. So choosing, we'll talk a little bit about this, because I've managed to get onto some pretty high life tracks. I will say also, though, that induced shifts, they do happen, right? So really, what is our goal in transurfing? Is to find a new neutral, a higher neutral, right? A place where you can allow yourself to have an emotional place that's higher, on a higher life track, right? So, what's happened to me, and it's my own fault. is I have been cruising along, and I'll be cruising along, let's say here, and I'll get to up here, and something will happen. It'll trigger me. Boom. There we go. Induce shift down, right? And then, go back up and maybe be here for a little while and maybe get back up here and then boom. But we always have a choice and we have to constantly choose. Okay, so look, here's the truth of it. Here is a me that deserves this stuff right here, right? We'll make this, I don't know, money. Here's a me that is kind of a mess. Is kind of a broken yogi, right? It's kind of bummed sometimes and dissatisfied, let's say, maybe a little bit, right? So that would be like this lower life track version of me, right? Not so happy. This one has purpose, and that's really the biggest difference. Is for me to stay on the higher life track is to be on purpose. And what happens is when I feel off purpose, it triggers me and I get upset. But what's cool about this, and I've done this many times and I've gotten better and better and better, right? So like the first time you induce shift and you realize it, you go down pretty far usually. But then you start to learn that you don't have to go all the way down, that you can continue to choose, okay? So we want to continue to choose. So when this thing happens that's unexpected, as it always will, right? Like, as I've said before, as I've experienced so many times, the way you get to your goal never comes about the way that you think you're going to get to your goal. It never happens that way. So you induce shift, and then you realize that you induce shift, and then you can get back up on that higher life track, okay? It's a matter of choosing. And there have been specific times in my life where, dude, I made a very conscious choice to move up, right? And when you do that, you have the responsibility to continue to choose, because you're going to constantly be faced with the option to choose negatively, right? We choose the observer effect, positive or negative. So once you get up on that higher life track, you have to maintain that level of choosing, right? When people talk about vibration and all this stuff, that's kind of what they're talking about. Like, it's maintaining a specific outlook and a thought quality and resonating that into the space of variations or the alternative space. That's what it means. But it's not something you could just do once. You don't just choose once. You don't just choose once on your couch, right? And then all of a sudden the choice is made. There's also action, because we use intention, that's involved as well. So that intention, when you move and when you choose that first intention, you have to continue to make that choice over and over and over again until it becomes habit. So that's why, sometimes, crazy things happen and it's just difficult, but it gets easier and easier and easier. But you have to remain that version of yourself that deserves what is on that higher life track. You can't, you can fake it till you make it, but you gotta make it, okay? You just gotta make it. All right, so one last thing. I think it's a fun game to see if you can outgive the world, because I don't think it's possible. Reality Transurfing works. I know for a fact it works. It's the method that I use, and I'm teaching it because I personally use it. And I'm not perfect at it. Nobody is. That's okay. But it's my model, all right? So when it comes to what we want, we have to be willing to give, right? Because the world's a dual mirror, and it takes time for us to see the reflection or what's on the other side of the mirror. There is a delay. Remember that there is a delay. The truth comes out, good triumphs, happy things, happy endings, all of that. It's a matter of what is being given or projected into the mirror, right? So here's the mirror. Here's me with my arms up, okay? This me doesn't have his arms up yet, but this me does. And this me is a high quality me projecting and choosing toward this me. And in time, boom, arms up. My goal is to try and outgive the world because I don't think that I can do that. I don't think that's possible. And no matter what happens, I'm going to continue to give. It's not up to me to take. That's not what I want for my life. When I leave, I want there to be, if there was a tally of how much I gave and how much I took, right? I want to have given more than I've taken, right? Like, and I think that the more you give, the more will be given to you. And like the Beatles say, right? In the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. So I just want to really pound the point home that I'm still going to be teaching transurfing. I believe in the method. Even if the author didn't practice the concepts, I would still absolutely 100% do transurfing. It works. And I would love to just say to Vadim, thank you for the work. And honest to God, dude, meant you no harm by sharing it. I believe transurfing has the keys to change the world. And I know that might sound a little audacious, but I can actually explain how. But anyway, so that's it for me for today, guys. Bootsy Greenwood. Oh, one more thing. I put up a new meditation that I had made for the group. I wanted to share it with the group. It's on my Gumroad account, and I'm asking $7 for it because I find myself in a position where things didn't quite go like I thought they would, right? So, so I'm in a spot where reality is reorganizing itself around where I'm headed. But like I said, I got some really great news yesterday as well. And I love all of you guys. I miss the group tremendously, but enjoy being in there. Like I said, keep the vibe alive and reach out with any questions, and be sure to check out the book on Transurfingism's channel, okay? I'm not linking it, okay? But I'm just going to tell you. That's where it is. Transurfingism. All right, go to my Gumroad, buy that meditation, support me on Patreon, yada, blah, 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 blah.